Well, hello everyone. How are y'all doing today? I've got lasering going on, as you can see by the blue lights over there. And man, tell you what, today I hit my colonies with the oxalic acid over here in the main yard. The chestnuts. We got to talk about the chestnut yard. I only had the one colony left over there. I started with 5 and added brood, tried everything I could to get those colonies to succeed, and they just didn't. So I got down to 1. I stopped by the one yesterday, and it looks like it's going to die too. It did have a queen and a handful of bees, but it's looking terrible. So it's going to die as well. I'm not investing anything else in that yard. When I go back there, I could pull that colony back here and add some more brood, but I'm thinking if the queen ain't doing it now over there, it's not going to do it if I bring it over here. So I'm just going to let it go. If it dies, it dies. We'll try it again in the spring, maybe make a split out there, and I'm going to collect everything. If it dies out, I'm collecting the box, I'm collecting the stand, everything. Just going to move it back over here and consider that a loss, and just go that way. And what can you do? You can't do much with it. My laser's getting ready to finish up here, and I got to put another blank on. So matter of fact, it just did finish. So this is what I did today, guys, on the laser. Hey, Rodney, for all my Star Wars geeks, a little Han and Chewie's Straight Smuggler's Whiskey. Says on the bottom, bottled and distilled by Tatooine Distillery. So that's a natural finish one. I actually had poly on it and it started raining. Give me just a second, guys. I'm trying to set this next one up because they're a little bit different from each other. So this is the one I just pulled off. That's pretty nice looking little effect to it. Let me set that one down and make sure I got this one lined up. Oh, that's going to suck. Sorry, guys, for the dead time here. That's where I want it, right about there. And let me hit the frame button real quick, and so I can start this one up. I'm gonna try something new on this one. And all right, looks good. Yep, looks good. So we're gonna let it go as soon as it gets back, and we're just gonna start it and pray for. Let me just slow it down a little bit. Slow it down to 5,000 millimeters a minute and start. It's going to take it a while to generate the files. Hey, how's it going, Eugene, Rodney, DC, William? Let me go ahead and I'm going to drop the link, guys. If anybody wants to come in and just talk about what's going on in their world. There we go. And I guess I need to pin that over on my channel here. Let me mute that tab and mute site. And I guess I'm going to have to refresh that. There you go. And let me just pin that. Pin message. Okay, great. And I will come back to StreamYard. There you go. Sorry. So yeah, so yeah, that's it. You know, I'm gonna let that go. I put the treatment on. I hit them with OA today. I do have Apivar strips in the colonies, and I also oxalic acid them. So I double banged them today. So I don't know. We'll see. See how it goes. See how it goes. We're shooting from the hip, but you know, just doing a couple signs today. It started to rain. This one, ooh, soot. Need to clean it up. Oh, wow. Well, that sucked. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it's nice and sooty from engraving. So I wipe it off a little bit. I don't know what's going on. It's still white even down once I etched it, like right there. Still white, but it's deep on most spots. So pretty cool little sign. Been working on. All right, let's start this other one real quick. Yes. So now we'll let this one start burning. I actually have this one masked because I'm gonna try to spray paint it. I ordered the Apis Biologic from Canada on Thursday, and it's not coming until it says next month. So like September, first week of September, it'll be here. So I've got like 10 days left. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit. I made this design today, and then I had a guy said he wanted this one. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and make a couple more different ones. I don't even know if I could put that on Etsy because it's got the Star Wars stuff on it. Yeah, the rocket fuel. So I've got the rocket fuel coming to mix with the syrup, and the rocket fuel coming to mix with pollen. The bees were all over the pollen. They are bringing some light color pollen in from, I guess, corn or soybeans around here, a little bit. And they're bringing in a lot of my pollen sub from the feeder. Not much else other than that. And it decided at the last minute this evening that it was just going to start pouring down rain. So kind of what's happening today. I tried to get Lee to come in. Lee says he's in his pajamas cooking right now, so he can't come in. It was the impromptu. Honestly, needed to get some videos up. Needed to get some more watch time. So I appreciate you guys. Speaking of which, Ian. Hey, Ian. Good to see you. I was just talking about your rocket fuel. I ordered some. Unfortunately, it's going to take a couple weeks to get here from Canada. It's going to be. I'm excited to try it. I'd really like to pull. Hey, Ian, click the link if you got a chance to come in, because I'd really like to uh, ask you some questions about A, Apis Biologics, and B, about when you make the decision in your mind that you're not putting any more money into a colony. Let me see. I can give you the website. Apis Biologics. All right. So this is the website. I'll drop that in here into the. There you go. Well, hey, of all of the beekeepers out there, as far as what you're giving your bees, I trust you. I've seen the year that you've gone through. I saw, the year that you've had. Your colonies always look amazing. And I can't get mine to look that amazing, that full all the time, and I'm trying to get to that point. And, at what point do you decide that, hey, I've given this colony enough chances, they're just going to get what they get, and that's it. And if they make it, they make it. And if they don't, they don't. And that's kind of where I am with at least one of my colonies. I've got a couple that are like that I've just kind of said, if you make it, you make it. If you don't, I'm done giving you frames of brood. I'm done requeening you. I'm done putting syrup on you. All kinds of stuff. So, guys, the link is pinned. If you want to come join me, I'd appreciate it. It makes it a lot easier than talking to the chat box. Hey, thanks, Ian, for stopping in. We appreciate you, brother. Glad you're having a good year. And maybe we can get you on again real soon. And, just trying to make this thing work out as best as possible, right? Guys, click the link. Let's go. Let's get in here, because this will be a short live if I don't get anybody in here. Charlie and Mike don't ever see it till like 10 o'clock at night. So, what are you guys doing for treatments? Are you treating now? If you're treating now, what are you treating them with? And, I think Brian is in the Bahamas or somewhere right now. Greg had that bad storm yesterday. Yeah, hey, the pollen tube that you did looks amazing. So the Bugman sent me a picture of his pollen feeder he made with 245s with the T in the middle. It's beautiful. It's a nice looking pollen sub. If you don't mind me asking, how much did that tube set you back? I mean, how much did the whole thing cost you? Probably $20, maybe 20-ish. It's not a bad investment. Hey, Mort, on my ties, $75? Are you serious? I used a piece of scrap pipe I had laying around, so evidently fittings have gone up too, because it's really 3 fittings in a short piece of pipe. So he made a pollen sub tube. Oh, Wayne. Yeah, so I hope he's he doesn't have many queenless for sure. Oh yeah, so the PVC, yeah, that's probably what it was. Because you can't buy this much, right? You got to buy a stick of it. But you could probably make 3 feeders out of that one piece of pipe. So I've got this piece masked off over here. I'm making sure it ain't catching fire. Oh, look who it is. This piece masked off over here. I'm making sure it ain't catching fire. Real quick, Charlie. You might be better now. You had a loop going.
Yeah, I had to turn off the volume.
So what's up, Charlie?
I just got in. I just happened to see your notice.
Oh, cool. I'm lasering and was sitting here, so I figured I'd go live and see if anybody wanted to talk about bees or whatever. I started the I OA'd today, and I already had Apivar on for like 3 weeks. So double dipping them on the treatments, trying to knock them down. And
Right.
it's funny because this guy that I've kind of been mentoring for the last, pretty much as long as I've been keeping bees, he's been keeping bees. Because the first year that I got bees, I caught a swarm for him out of his neighbor's yard, and he boxed it up. And he was all, I don't want to feed, I don't want to treat, I don't want to, all natural. But he watched somebody else's YouTube video, and they're like, oh, well, right now you should have already been starting to treat. And then he calls me and he's like, oh, hey, what could I do to get you to come over here and treat? I'm like, well, I'll come do it, but I've been telling you for 3 years.
Has he lost all his bees over those 3 years?
He's had lots of problems. Because he's not a guy that takes the first word he hears. He'll ask you a question, but then he's going to look at 50 different videos and confuse himself. I just told him today, I said, why would I lie to you? Why would I tell you something other than what I would do?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to do it on mine, then chances are it's a decent thing for you to do, And at any rate.
Yeah, I had one guy drop off 3 supers, and I extracted that yesterday afternoon, and that was done to everybody. That I have one young guy that I mentored and got him done Saturday of last week.
But see, I'm the same way you are. What you said on Tuesday night was when you mentor somebody, you're there to help them and to give them a little bit of guidance. But in the end of the day, they have to take responsibility for getting the equipment they need. Yeah. Getting, if that's a vaporizer or a wand or whatever, I bought mine $500 3 years ago.
Right. So anyway, I got rid of the 2 guys that needed it and needed some extracting done. And so I told the last guy, he only had 3 boxes. And he was under the impression I was going to continually do it. And I'm like, no, you're going to join our local bee club. And for the membership, we have 2 extractors, 2 uncapping tubs and knives, and even a bucket strainer. It's all there for your, it's a hand crank, but for what little bit he has. And so I got all that done, and I got my whole back porch where I keep my honey extraction equipment completely cleaned up, put away. I have rosin paper on the floor. I, got all that up, threw it away. And
right. But see, that's the things right there. What you just said, the rosin paper and all that, that's expense to you.
Yeah.
Right? That he's not, I see it's your mentee.
Yeah.
Isn't taken into consideration that, you're doing it as a favor, but at some point they've got to make the investment in their own.
Well, I told him, I said, it's, I said, either come to Hive Life and check out all the different types of equipment, or pick it. And I said, I would look at Lyson, like at 30, I'd get a 20.
Right.
And I use a Hive Butler for my uncapping. I have a Hive Butler uncapping tank. It works for me the way I do it. Some guys like Brian from Castle Hives, he bought one of them new small stainless steel uncapping tanks. I actually had bought one through Man Lake, and it came in damaged, and it was like $700 or more. And right. I'm looking at that thing, and I'm like, I don't really, I'm looking at space and movability. I don't have a honey house. If I had a dedicated honey house, it'd be a different story. Anyway, I bought this little uncapping tank from Tracy out there at the Hive Butler.
Right.
And, locally American made and everything. And it works good. And I modified it with it's called the Coleman capper. It's for a 5-gallon bucket where you snap it on. I had that for years. Attached that to a set of wooden frames, so it would slide into that Hive Butler and capping tank. And it holds my plastic frames nice and firm and safely. So that's what I use. And so anyway, like I say, I got all that put away and washed. And like you say, there's probably 3 hours worth of cleanup.
Right.
And
he's gone at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely, now in the past, he has helped me set up and stuff. So, but I mean, and I had the last guy help me take the extractor outside the back door to the blacktop driveway, and so I could wash it and do all that stuff. But anyway, got all that done. I have my little scissors lift, that I bought for my bottling tank.
Mm-hmm.
Recovered it with my rosin paper to make it new looking. Put my bottling tank on there. About 2 months ago, I had assembled everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to fill it, with water and honey. And I set it there, and there's a receptacle there. And I said, yeah, let's plug it in. It's underneath the table, alongside this table, before I start filling everything. And I'm like, it won't go in. And I look at the darn cat, and I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a single-phase 220 plug. And I'm like, geez. So I got on, I said, all right, that was this morning. I waited till after lunch or so, and I called up Jason for Bohemia Bees because he's got a 42-gallon one, which is the next size bigger than mine. And I asked him, does yours have, 220 single-phase outlet? He says, no, it's 110, normal current, house current. He says, call Maxan up. He said, that's an I won't say an option, but that you could either choose one or the other heater element. And I'm like, well, Rossman Apiaries never asked me that. And of course, I got now I got to call Manley or Maxant and see if I can get them to. I've never used it or got it.
Or electrician.
Yeah, or electrician. Well, hell, that'd be $500 to put a damn thing in. The way copper is right now.
And that was one of the things when I started looking at bottling tanks that I was like, that's why I specifically went with the one I got, was because it was 110.
Right.
And
then you got to look at it this way: resale value, easier to sell.
Right.
So I'm gonna call Max and I hope we'll get a swap out. I think.
I feel like honestly with the extractor that I bought, I didn't use it to its potential this year. I didn't have enough honey where it felt like I got my money's worth for using it. I mean, it was really quick. Don't get me wrong, but as time goes, hopefully it.
Yeah, I mean, how many boxes of honey did you have this year?
Probably
12,
20, something like that.
Next year you'll have 30.
So
that's when it'll come. I mean, it's like I said when you were thinking about it, the first buy is the cheapest. You're going to grow that machine into. If you do what you say you're going to do, you're going to grow into that machine.
Well, that's the same thing when I bought my ProVap. Okay. Yeah, granted, now there are cheaper ones. Back then, there really wasn't, unless you wanted to make your own. So I bought the ProVap, and this is what I was explaining to the guy today when he said that he needed to treat his bees. I'm like, well, let me give you an idea. You can go buy, 50 Apivar strips. They're going to cost you $160. And then next year, guess what? You're going to have to spend another $160 and another $160, probably more because they're probably going to go up. But that ProVap, I bought it one time. Hopefully it lasts for a good while. I mean, and then, $15 for a 2-pound bag of oxalic acid that I've been using for 3 years. So it cost me about $5 a year to treat my colonies. So
I mean, I was treating a tremendous amount up until last year, and I was just reading the Bug Man's comment about how you. I'm just wondering whether or not there's enough heavy duty wire to that 110 outlet. I think probably not. You need three. You need 2 hots and a ground. You need a 3-wire connection to that.
well, so I told him. I said he used to kind of rag me about feeding my bees and rag me about treating, because he was watching Dr. Leo and wanted to be treatment free. And hey, I'm not. If that's what you want to do, it's your money, your bees, your decision. Do it. But what I'm saying is, sugar water is cheaper than honey, and oxalic vaporization is cheaper than buying bees. Those are 2 things I learned over my first year when I had colonies die out. Because of hive beetles, it was cheaper to treat for hive beetles and buy the stuff for hive beetles than buy new colonies. But some people don't look at it that way.
Well, the guy that I just did the extraction, his wife had come, and she's getting on YouTube. Of course, she's looking at all this different stuff, and she wants to be, I think, treatment free. And somehow I mentioned I had just seen.
Greg Burns said he lost $35,000 trying to be treatment free.
Yeah, did you see that last video where that storm come through and ripped these apiary apart?
50 hives, yeah. So Wayne was saying that that they're all back together now. He's going to give them a day or so and then go back in and check to see the queens. But see, if he's got
I had that happen, but not that bad. I only had, it's like those 2 nukes right over my shoulder there. They were like 3 or 4 boxes tall. They were like 2 big old high skyscrapers.
right.
And they were right at the corner of the building where the wind blows up through there. And we had one of them, sort of like a northeastern storm come through. And
Right.
it blew them things, and they were like dominoes. Plop, plop. Luckily it was only 2 on a stand. And you talk about a bunch of bees that were pissed. They were mean, and I got in there and got the smoker rolling real good, and I got like 1 put back together. I had to leave. I mean, I was smoking the air, trying to get away from them.
Well, you figure you've disturbed their colony. That's the first thing. Secondly, the weather outside, they don't like that to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So it was just domino effect right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, 1 fell over and then hit the other one. So it knocked 2 off the stand sideways, because that's the way the wind blew.
Right.
And that was before I started putting ratchet straps on. And so I got them, it took me, you had to go in and do 1 of them, get away and smoke the air to calm them down, wait about 10 minutes, and then go back in and catch the next one. But, I was lucky. None of the queens were damaged. They were both queen right. Everything was good.
I think when something like that happens, they instinctively cluster the queen. I mean, I've never seen it, but I would assume that they would just cluster around her to protect her. Let me see.
So anyway, that was I was thought I was going to have my honey tank all up and running today, but that's not going to be. Hopefully, within another week or so, I'll have it up and running.
Well, you still got the old one, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, it's not that I can't wait. I was just, I had
Bought it, so you're wanting to use it.
Yeah, I had the time and everything. It was like I was tired of looking at my extractor sitting there waiting on other people to get their stuff here.
Right.
And I finally got rid of all that mess and ants and whatever else that comes along with it. And it's all clean, put away, and I'm like in a nice, fresh look to the back porch. And now I got this really nice looking cart, and everything's clean. And it's like, hey, hey, Phil.
Philip.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Chainsaw, Bob.
Chainsaw. Oh, I thought about you yesterday, Charlie.
Yeah.
I bought a new video card for my computer, and I saw where Best Buy basically had the exact same computer that I built for like $1,650 compared to the $2,500 I paid for it when I built mine. So,
Well, since things, I have to kind of, like I say, I was considering. I got a friend of mine. We're going to look at the computers. I haven't had time to really look at them closely. The one ad that Lee sent me is like a couple $1,000s for that unit.
yeah, luckily the graphics cards are coming down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's actually driving the price of the computers down as well. Well, obviously they're cheaper parts for them to buy. So
Well, I'm not saying money is not tight for me, but I had to write a college tuition check, so that was the end of that.
I got let me see. I put a 3070 Ti in this computer that I'm on right now, and then I moved the 3060 Ti I had in this computer to my older computer. Replaced the crappy GPU that was in there. This piece of crap right here, 1060 that was in there. So got this one gone, and now I've got all modern GPU.
And that's a video card?
Yeah, well, somewhat.
I've never seen one with a fan on it like that before.
This is
That's
a
a small one.
That's what she said. This is a 10 series where they're at the 30 series now. So I went up 2 generations of graphics cards on this by swapping them over. No, 3090 Ti is too much. I just had to meet what Lee had in his 3070. So I got the 3 computers all have new graphics cards, and they're all mining right now, mining cryptocurrency as we speak, Bitcoin. So I make a whopping $5 a day on my 3 PCs. So it's not bad though. That's $1,500 a year that I'm not having to pay for.
Yeah, I was just listening to Hale Highs. His wife's from Annapolis, which is about, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles away.
Spanky, you're talking way too much.
My mic's messed up. It's making that noise, not the air conditioner. I looked at
That just means it's very effective. It's picking up everything.
I don't know.
Just I don't think they have push to talk settings for StreamYard.
Well, they got the mute button. That's push to talk and untalk.
So, you guys, Phil, what are you doing with your bees? Anything?
Unfortunately, I'm back down to 1 hive.
What do you mean you're back down to 1 hive? One died out?
Just never requeened itself. Just went laying worker and had to shake it out.
It went laying worker, no queen?
No queen. I don't know what happened. There was queen cells all over the place, but whether it just keep casting swarms, I'm not sure. But it just would not.
Wouldn't take, huh?
Just would not requeen. Opened a couple of weeks ago and there was literally only a couple of hundred bees in it, so I just shook it out and took it away.
Sounds like what I did.
I tend to. Yeah, I intend to still have the one that I have is really strong, so I am going to make a split this week into a 5-frame nuke and really want to have 2 hives going into winter rather than just the one. So,
well,
hopefully overwinter in the 5-frame nuke, and I have a queen coming at the end of the month. I know you watch Black Mountain Honey.
Yeah, I watched.
He did a video a couple of weeks ago with a queen from a guy called Jonathan Getty from Northern Ireland. So I've got a queen coming from him. So, yeah.
How much was the queen from that guy?
It was
100
35
euros?
pounds.
35
No,
pounds?
no. Yeah.
Well, that's still like $50, right? 40, $50.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
You say where was the Queen from? From Ireland or Maryland?
No, Northern Ireland, Charlie.
Northern Ireland. Okay.
Northern
No,
Maryland.
he's local. It's a local black bee queen. Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Shipping from
the
the States wouldn't be just.
be a normal
We don't
queen
do the.
Hale wants to know when you sleep, Phil.
at
I
work.
don't sleep.
You don't sleep.
I'm a 24-hour call all the time.
What time is it there now?
It is 2:05.
In the morning.
Yep.
2 in
But
the morning.
I'm actually on holidays this week, so
Oh, so that's why you look so well.
no work tomorrow.
Hmm.
No work this week.
That means I got to stream every night for Phil.
Oh, please do, yeah.
I am actually 15 subs away from 2,000 now. It's going slow, but it's slowly getting there.
I
Slowly.
really want to win that. I want to see how much it costs to ship to.
Well, you know what? That would be up to Betterbee because I'm going to have Betterbee ship it directly to whoever wins it.
I did go onto your Etsy store to look at the prices of your
My wares,
your wares, but
they're expensive.
every single item was costing more to ship than it was to actually buy it.
Oh, I'm sure. So that's a recent sign I did today. So if you're into Star Wars, so that's one. I actually I did the same design, but I did it on a white one.
Mm.
And then I've got one that's masked off, that's natural, so I can spray the letters and stuff black. So I look at Lee dropping my store in there. But it's I don't even have that
We
on
need to
me.
get his PJs off and come in.
And come on in. Come on in your PJs. We'll make it a pajama party. But you know, I've got to say, I'm not happy with those cuted queens at all. I don't think I've had any of the cuted queens that I have. Those colonies are struggling bad. So I don't know what else to do with them. And it's too late in the year to requeen them. So hopefully I just didn't spend a shit ton of money to watch them die. You know.
And I put one of my hives, production hives, I put that Formic Pro in. I looked at it. It looked like to me it was queenless when I was putting that stuff in. So I'll give it a couple more weeks when I go back in to take that stuff out and see whether she's still queenless. But the ones that I pulled and I put in that video of mine, they were the ones that I believe, I can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure those were the hives that were queenless during the summer. And I put my own grafted cells in there. And they seem to be on fine now. So.
And that one colony, my biggest colony, I can't even get into it. As soon as you crack a box, man, they're just flying. I mean, they're coming out.
At you.
Yeah, they're just pissed.
I need a new queen there.
And they can, but the bad thing is they're my strongest colony. I mean, they've packed the bees in. I mean, they're doing good. It's just they're pissy. I mean,
I had a hive like that. They would fly up into my face all the time.
well, these just sting me through my jeans. Even
Oh, really?
they just, they just sting the crap out of you in the legs. So, and I guess if I wore my coveralls, which is a thicker material, it probably wouldn't be that bad. But I ate them today. No smoke. I very rarely smoke my colonies.
Me either.
And
What have you been doing, Spanky?
Do what?
What have you been doing with your bees and stuff? I haven't
I'm a
been
red
able
drink.
to talk to you a lot.
Been trying to save them. Had a lot of queen problems. None of my queens come back.
That's right. Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah, and then the third replacement queen, she flew away, and I checked in there on Thursday, and she'd come back, but they had a big beetle infestation, so I had to basically knock them down into a 5 frame, really reduce it down. I couldn't trust if any of the frames in there had eggs in them or not. So I just put some feed on them, closed them up, really reduced them down.
And then you were saying, what was it with Earl about the peppermint didn't quite work for you, or what?
Well, I've been putting peppermints in there, but there's no telling what could be the reason for why they're still
Well, I mean,
propagating.
do you feel that the beetles are reducing somewhat compared to what when you started with?
Well, there's always been thousands of beetles, but I've noticed that there's not as many in the traps, so I don't know if that's the bees doing less corralling or if it's that the beetles are coming in, but then they're leaving before they get corralled.
Mm-hmm.
The with the beetles, I mean, the colonies that I've had the issues with are the ones that I haven't been diligent keeping peppermints in them, or they're just weak, you know. And that's where I've had the issues.
And you got your hives out in open sunlight, Spangy?
Yeah.
All right. And then you got anything underneath of them, like carpet or something that's they can't get into the ground with?
Not directly around them. I was going to do that, but
I mean, some people use like old shingles and anything that makes the ground, I guess you call it impervious and all.
I think I'm getting ready to order some bee escapes, though. I'm going to try a couple on those big colonies, put the bee escape in, give them a couple days to work down.
As far as what, for honey supers?
Yeah, so what I was trying to do, and from what I gathered so far, it's worked. My strong colonies, like the pissy one, is I put supers back on because they're going to forage faster than my weaker ones, right? So let them refill the comb up. And then once I take those supers off and condense them down, then I can take the supers that they have filled and move them to other colonies that are weaker and can't forage as much. At least that was the thought, you know, like if they leave those outside frames undone in a box, take a couple frames of honey and drop them on the outside for them. Just trying to get them ready for winter, for what winter we have, you know. I do put peppermints, Morgan. I do put peppermints in every box. Usually it takes me seeing hive beetles in the colony, and then I'll treat them. Because my big ones that I treated early and often with peppermints, they've kept all the beetles in check. No problems over there. And what I should be doing is, in addition to the peppermints, I should go ahead and put other, you know, like Swiffers or something on there in addition to it. So if some do get in there, I'm still catching them, just to limit the numbers. But even my open feeder that I put out with the straw, there's hive beetles all in that syrup over there until I dump it out. And then that just helps propagate them even more. So
Let's see. Lemoore Farm, let's see. I got 10 frames on a concrete slab and
you want me to show it up?
Yeah, it says the ones on the slabs
And 2 on
aren't growing
space
as
on the ground.
fast.
But you know what? You see people like Cayman and Bruce's Bees where they just have them on pallets all over the place, you know, and it's like, you know, they get some beetles. I mean, obviously Ian Stepler doesn't.
Well,
He's up north, but
I mean, honestly, I don't get any beetles.
you don't get any beetles.
No. And unless it's a really super, super weak hive where it's just about to die out, then I'll start seeing beetles. Now, what I see in beetles are like nothing compared to what you guys probably see. You probably
Right.
see thousands of beetles.
Oh, hold on, my wife turned the fan on.
And whereas I might see, I don't know, 100 beetles might be a lot for me. Well, aren't you down around, you're in what, North Carolina, Spanky?
Spanky's in North Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in North Carolina.
What town? Hickory?
I'm up from
Come on, guys,
Hickory a
my
little
back
bit.
door open.
I'm up from Hickory a little bit. I'm
North?
up in Lenore.
Yeah, okay. Up there close to where the, isn't there like a lake right there?
Mm,
I'm thinking of that
You're near Lenore,
Lenore.
Spanky?
She's going
Yeah.
towards Boone. Yeah, you're right. Some of my relatives, some of them passed away now, but
They got a college there, right? Lenore Rhine.
yeah, I know of Lenore, Ryan. I'm not right up next to it. It's a pretty good ways trip to get to it.
Just making sure my laser's it's burning, it's smoking everything up. I thought it was just my cigarettes. It's the laser smoking everything out in here. So,
But
but
other than that, as far as my bees and whatever, it's kind of winding down some. I mean, I'm really actually enjoying it where I'm not having to be out there every weekend.
well, if
At least I had this weekend off. I'll put it to you that way.
I kept putting off OA, kept putting it off because it's just
I think it's kind of early in it for that. You know,
I just wanted to hit them and knock it back as much as I could. You know, it's like for me, it's that lazy streak, right? It's just like, well, I got to pull the truck around there. I got to put the inverter on the battery. I got to plug it in. I got to wait. It's just a lot of time, right? So it's just
It is.
that's the
it is.
thing with me. It's just being lazy. But I finally got out there and did it. And
So,
just-
Phil, do you have all these problems over there where you live?
he's got nothing.
Bugs?
No
or
mites, no beetles.
No, that's not. We have mates. Yeah, we definitely have mates.
Right.
I don't think
He has queen
anybody
problems.
gets away from mates nowadays. And queen
so
problems. Yeah.
So damn cold. It's like every night they're clustering.
What
Yeah,
is
I
it,
suppose
does it-
I
does it-
suppose I should do the usual temperature check
Yeah.
here tonight. Let me see.
It's 75 here right now.
Oh well, I'm not too bad tonight. We're 55. Balmy
Yeah.
55 tonight.
76 here. I mean, what's the hottest as it get over your way?
We
I mean, like summertime per se.
yeah, summertimes. Whenever you say summertime, we could have summertime for one day.
Really?
We hit 83. What, about a week and a half ago? But it was literally for one day.
We're just
It
now
could be
getting
83.
to
What?
80s.
83 one day and then back down to 59 the next.
You're always 50, 60 degrees all the time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just looking our hottest temperature this week coming up. For the next week and a half, our hottest temperature is 69.
We kind of have spring-like temperatures now, 86 during the day, 70, 72 at night. So it's like a good time if your bees
Yeah,
are
now, like here lately, it's been in the 60s at night and mid 70s or so during the daytime.
Yeah, well, we're dropping down now to, I see a 45 at night.
45. Yeah, they're definitely
Yeah.
clustered at night then.
The biggest change we see is we start losing light now, big time. You know,
It's-
we're 9 o'clock in the evening. It's pretty much dark here now. Where midsummer you could get to, 11 o'clock before it would start to get dark.
At night?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of almost
Our
like
our
Huh?
our
like Alaska.
midsummer's day. The longest day we might only have 5 or 6 hours of night.
Really?
Oh yeah, be light to 11, and sunrise could be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, that really is
But
almost like
you-
Alaska.
Oh yeah. But we notice big difference once it gets into August. That it starts to get dark really quick.
Yeah, well, around here at 8 o'clock, Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock would is, well, I guess maybe it might be 8:30, maybe in the mid right.
Oh, no, we'd go right up to 11
Nah,
midsummer.
we don't never nothing like that. And then when the shortest day or whatever would be like 4:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30, it's almost dark. That kind of thing.
Won't be
Yeah.
long. Like October, November. The day's really short.
Well, the end of
Do you
October,
guys-
the time changes and we run backwards and we it'll
You,
be
you
dark.
guys still do the time change, yeah? I can't believe we're still actually doing this stupid time change every twice a year.
Well, that's what we.
It doesn't make any sense.
A lot of the different states in the United States feel the same way.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
been a
it's-
few others that voted just to be a standard time, and that's the end of it. And all.
What?
So what you guys got coming up for your bees? What are you planning to do?
Myself, let's see. Next weekend, let's see. Now this week, I got to work the state fair this weekend, Saturday evening, and then that'll be the end of this month, won't it? This coming weekend, that'll be the end of the first round of Formic Pro of 14 days. So I'll be taking them out. And I'll try to do a few mic checks. And then I'm kind of considering maybe throwing in April Guard for.
Is that the stuff that came in with scooping on that?
Yeah. There was one thing that he stated in this last video I watched today was something to think about that most people, I think it bypasses most people's mindset is that he says you don't want, a 1% infestation for just after that one period. You want a 1% all the way through winter. So your bees come out in spring good and healthy.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's my treatment program is that I normally start in August and I treat all the way through, last year I treated all the way up through December. January was too cold. Most of February was too cold. And I gave them another oxalic acid treatment, and I think it was the last weekend of February. I haven't treated since then, except, this past 2 weeks. But
That's kind of what I did.
October,
Too.
November, December, I treated. In February, I treated with oxalic acid twice a month. And something that I don't do any alcohol washes at that time of the year, but I will scrape the chloroplast boards and clean them prior to a let's say oxalic acid treatment.
To see what
And then
they're
I'll come back in about 3 days and I'll pull them and check them and see what kind of mite drop I got. And I find that to be pretty informative. Not that I can't tell you what a percentage I have, but I've had some of those nukes. There was 1 or 2 nukes that I had last year, and one of them was just tremendously loaded with mites. And the rest of them around next door to them, they were fine. I looked at the board. When I look at the board, it's like, okay, do I see 10 mites or do I see 1,000 mites? And this one hive is a nuke. It was like somebody took a pepper box and just sprayed the whole damn thing full of, there must have been 3,000 mites on that thing that were killed. And I'm like, it's totally loaded. It took me 3 treatments of oxalic to get it under control, where you look at it and then you have to sit there and look at the board and say, now where do I see a mite? Well, then you might see 6 to 10.
Right.
To me, it's acceptable. I've got something under control here. And instead of wherever where 3 treatments prior to that, everywhere you looked were thousands of mites, So that's my treatment program. That's what I did last year. Now, ApraGuard, the gel, that'll be a new product for me. Now, I do have ApraVar, which is the strips.
Right.
And I commented on one about when Bob Benny came out and showed how easy it was last year. I commented what I was treating with, and he said he wasn't, those guys are not really up on the ApraVar. They think it's diminishing in its capability of killing mites.
Well, this is my first year using those, so hopefully, again, I have them on the colony and I hit them with oxalic acid. So I'm just trying to.
The thing that you have to watch for is when you're talking Formic Pro, which is formic acid, and you've got thymol, which that's the active ingredient in ApraGuard. You got to look at temperature. That's highly temperature sensitive. You can kill your bees with those things if you hit it with bad temperatures, and you're in a deep south where. And Lee, especially Lee, your guys are in some oven baking areas of the country, and and where the ApraGuard, which is the plastic strip, really doesn't have a temperature sensitive rating except when it's too cold, and it'll probably work for you, or at least I hope that. And the main thing about there was one thing that Jennifer Berry, scientist, she was working with Benny on some of his videos, and she finally came out on one of the videos and stated the same statement that I had always said, that I will vaporize them. 2 years ago, I vaporized my hives from the third week of September, twice a week until the end of October, because that was the time change, because I couldn't get out there because it would be too dark to vaporize. And I did it twice a week for 6 to 7 continuous weeks. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to get the mites as they come out of the cappings. And there will be the thoracic mites. And Jennifer Berry said the same thing I said, that you think that you're going to be able to get those mites as they come out. And she did an experiment where if you went into the winter with 2%, the oxalic acid treatment, doing it that way, would maintain that 2% infestation. If you went in there with, let's say, 10% infestation, it wouldn't reduce it down to 2%. It would just maintain the 10%, and those hives would die. And from my personal experience, where I'm losing all them nukes behind me in the background, or at least the majority of them, and I had no nuke sales, a year ago because of that, and had to rebuild. And so obviously, I believe her experiments were true.
Right.
And I'll say accurate. Accurate. And so I finally come to I've been told this, and how we all, like you were saying earlier on about you keep listening about this stuff, and I'm like, yeah. And then finally the light bulb comes on and says, you know what? I think they're right. Where oxalic acid is more of a wintertime treatment, where you try to get your hives as broodless as possible. Even with me and Marilyn, they never go broodless. They go minimal. They might, I've been in there in February and opened them up on a pretty day with warm weather. And I had a patch of brood in there, I don't know, let's say 2.5 to 3 inches in diameter. That's, a small
Right.
amount like that, capped. And there was a little bit of eggs around that. Well, there's enough bees to keep all that warm. So, I mean, there's always brood in there. I don't think they really go broodless completely. Now, up in Vermont and places like that where they have tremendous cold weather, I think that they do pretty much go broodless.
Well, I hit my colonies in the spring, and then I put some Apivar on my smaller colonies. Then I oxalic acided them again before the honey flow. And then I let the honey flow go. And then I pulled my honey. Then I put Apivar back into all the colonies.
Yeah, and it's probably, 90 some degrees at that time when you pull your honey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
you can't use Formic Pro. There's no way. And you got months of that kind of weather down there. So Apivar and oxalic acid are your only two choices that you can use.
so
And
now
I
I have them both going.
yeah, now Cayman, I've seen him use Apriguard, but they reduce it down. Instead of, normally Apriguard is supposed to be 50 grams once for every 2 weeks. But listen to Benny, and then Benny actually liked what Cayman did, where he said, okay, let's do it 33 grams for 3 continuous weeks and spread it across that. Or like Craig Branch from, what's it called, the Sideline Beekeeper.
Right.
He's in your area, I believe.
He's in North Carolina too.
North Carolina, and he was doing 25 grams where the temperature was 90 some degrees, let's say 90, 95, a month ago or so. And he was doing 25.
And he put matter of fact, it was his video of him putting Apivar strips on his colony in spring that got me to order mine. And then
Now,
when they came
he
in,
said he had issues with that too. So who knows?
but I ordered mine, but by that time it was too late to put them on. So I waited. The only ones I put them on were the ones that weren't going to produce honey for me, this year. So yeah, it's been a journey. We'll see. I mean, hopefully I end up with more colonies than I started with this year. That's all I can.
That's the thing, it's like you're talking about the honey and the supers and whatever, and it's like I came into this year's bee season with a good, 2020, I'll say between 20 and 25 nukes to sell, or, they came through, and I had 27 nukes. I think I'm somewhere around 20 to 24 nukes, something like that. I lost some, and you always do. I don't care what you do. And then all my honey hives came through, and I built some of them. I had switched around from deeps back to mediums, like I like, and all those different parameters. But you gain that population. You gain. It's like Cayman says, you want them. You got that good, strong, healthy looking hive. Or hives, and then you got something to work with. And once you kind of get that, you kind of get into the groove of getting that established, then everything else falls into place come springtime with honey and things of that nature.
Well, I've got let me see. I sold 10 nukes this year. So that's 10 more than I sold last year or the first year, right? So that's 10 colonies I sold. So that was 2,000.
And you're running right around 200 on them.
Yep, $200.
So you got $2,000.
Yep.
That
Honey sales.
pays for a lot of input cost.
Yep, that's
I
a
mean,
lot of
the more hives you got, the more money you're going to have to spend. I mean, it's like this year. It was close to where I was running out of medium supers for honey, and also I run medium supers in my 10 frame hive bodies. And I bought 20. Well, and I had to buy I always try to buy the premium where they were clear wood. Well, it would have cost me $600 for those boxes this year. So I bought ones that were still decent grade, and that still was $400.
Daisy said he did 25 grams for 2 weeks and then 50 grams for 2 weeks in his hives in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Okay, he's down there close to, he's about 6 hours from me.
Well, he's in New York and in Virginia. He's got two.
Who is this saying this?
Daisy's Honey.
Who? DC?
Daisy's Honey, Steve. Steve from Daisy's Honey. And,
he's here, or what? Where is he at?
he's got a yard in Chesapeake at his daughter's, and then he's also in New York. So he's got two different yards.
Yeah,
so,
but what's you say? JC's honey?
Daisy's Honey.
Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy's Honey.
Hearing is not the best.
The
There he is.
I've still got drones. I've got drones in my yard, so half of me is thinking I could still make queens right now. Maybe not a lot, but I could still probably pull out some queens out of the mix if I.
I know, like in the honey hive, that I might have a queenless situation there. Well, I got a nuke. That's what people have to. If you want to be sustainable as a sustainable beekeeper, you got to have either for every two production colonies, at least one nuke backup. Now, a friend of mine up in Delaware, he doesn't have 30 plus colonies, but he has. Let's say if you're a backyard beekeeper with 4 hives, I would have 4 nukes as backup. And so if I go in here next week, next weekend will be busy. But if I get back, I'm going to get back in there, by the 1st of September. If I find that hive queenless, I'll paper a nuke into it.
Yeah, see, and I've got that out there right now. I could actually take my nukes, and a couple of my nukes I could actually move to 10 framers already, and then even boost their numbers by stealing some brood from some of my bigger colonies and putting them in there. And then they would be production colonies going into spring. And then, split back to my nukes in the spring early. Well, not as early as I did this year because that was a loss, but early, early in spring. And I'm trying to get some kind of cyclical, I can't even say it, an ecosystem, we'll say that, where I've got queens from my 2 frames I can put into nukes, make nukes, right? And then nukes make production hives.
Yeah, it's like Kent Williams taught me how to graft back in 2019. And I seen him at Hive Life this January. And I went up to him. I said, I want to thank you because as soon as I learned how to graft and make my own queens, that is the total key of completely being self-sustainable in your own bee yard. And then, of course, having your mating boxes, you got it already. You got nukes, you got 2-frame mating boxes, you've got 10-frame honey hives. So you've got all the things in place. You just have to, more or less fine tune it and learn how to manage it,
Next year should be different because I'll be able to put those things into place early. Where this year it was kind of a staggered effect, which made me making my 2-frame nukes a little bit too late, unless you're buying.
You said you did them splits early on, and then you lost all them hives. Well, you already know now to never do that again.
Right.
You need to wait a month when it's more safe to do that. And then, as I was telling you when I first met you, that, you put some frames in a nuke. And I'm like, you can't be that cheap. You got to put lots of bees in that nuke in order for it to, make a viable queen out of that queen cell.
Now, anytime I make a nuke or even a 2-framer, I literally take a Pro Nuke box and set it down and shake a bunch of bees into it, and all the old bees will fly back to their colony, and the young bees that can't fly stay in the box.
Yeah,
I just bang them down into a pile and basically dump them in.
that's right. And see that you've learned a technique by yourself. You know how to do it to where you know it's going to work for you.
But
Spanky, you were talking about queens. Do you have any beekeeper friends in your area or clubs that you could maybe they could maybe spare you a queen or something?
My mentor basically just told me that it was too late in the season and to cut my losses and get more bees next year.
Yeah,
Rather than spend resources and possibly lose the hive over the winter.
you got how many hives? 2 or 3 or?
I've only got one now. I did have I had 2 going in, and queen problems. I don't know if I've ever had a queen return from a mating flight.
Right. So basically, you do have a queen right hive, one queen right hive right now.
That nuke, yeah, I reduced it down, and they
Okay,
were
so now
suffering.
you went from 10 frame to 5 frame.
Oh, I went from a double D.
Damn.
Yeah.
You had,
you
had some serious problems there.
I had made 3 2-framers, and I crammed them full of bees. Had one queen. I saw her in the hive, a virgin, and none of those queens come back. None of the queens in the main hive come back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what gets them. I don't know if it's the European hornets or the dragonflies or what.
Yeah, it could be any of that, for sure. For sure. Yeah, September's here. Like he says, it's getting mighty late. As far as trying to grow another hive, no, I guess, like he says, your mentor says, you really need to, I'll say, focus in and try to protect and get that one hive through the winter.
You got any
that's
pollen
what I'm
patty on
trying
them?
to do. I don't have pollen on them. I put a frame full of pollen in there. And
do you have any natural pollen going on in your area right now? I think you probably do.
I have loads of stuff blooming, but I don't see any honeybees on it. Like goldenrod, I haven't seen any honeybees hitting it.
Well, now I do know they tell me there's 2 different types of goldenrod. There's the one that bees like and one that bees don't, I think, the way I get it. But now, have you watched your entrance of your hives and watched the bees coming in to see what?
Yeah. Yeah,
you got pollen coming in that way. Can you see visible evidence of that?
Yeah, it's been a really weird season.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if it's basically if I go out there and open up that hive, I'm going to be hit with so much robin. But it's
so you
weird.
definitely got a dearth in your area. That's for sure.
It's weird because that double deep in the time that they were queenless filled up both of those 10 frames of nectar.
Yeah, well,
but they're still getting robbed. But where are they getting all that nectar? Because I wasn't feeding at the time.
Right.
So I was wondering if maybe it's more genetics encouraging the robbing.
Now, if they're getting robbed, have you got a robbing screen on there or a reducer?
I have a reducer on there. I've reduced the entrance to one bee going in and out.
$3 days at the most. Gardner apiary? Okay, yeah, they're right out of Georgia.
This newest queen I've got, she's a Caucasian.
But you got a queen. You're a queen, right? And she is laying, right?
Pretty certain she is.
All right. Well, you can see any type of evidence of brood. Eggs, larvae. Capped.
I think you get the law of
the
law of diminishing returns, though. As the colony starts to digress, she starts to lay less, right?
But you know,
So
as I call that, I call that bee power.
bee power, yeah,
You
that's
gotta have the worker bee population in the same same size dynamics of what she's going to lay. She will only lay
As
as
many
much
bees
as they can cover, and all that. And that's just the kind of way they do it. And of course, it's that time of year. The night, like Phil was saying, the nights are getting, or the daylight hours are getting shorter, and the bees are sun creatures. They do everything in relationship to the sun.
Did
When
you
it
ever
comes-
see that video where they have the fish tank full of honeybees and they have a light on and they're all flying, and as soon as they turn the light off in there, all the bees drop immediately, just like right to the bottom as soon as they flip the light off.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty. Someone had it on Facebook is where I saw it, I think, but yeah, it's pretty impressive that they've got bees flying in this fish tank. They're flying all around on the inside, and as soon as they flip that light switch off, they all drop down into the bottom. They just land.
Well, it's like I get out here and I'll work on these bees, let's say treating or whatever, and it's getting close to dusk. That's when the bees start crawling instead of flying, because they don't like to fly because they can't navigate.
Well, what you call it? I think Jose said they're not shipping less than 29 queens. If you're not buying 29 queens, they're not shipping them. So
I don't know how his schedule is out there.
and
Yeah, but he's a commercial beekeeper, so he wants to sell big lots
right,
instead of
yeah, it takes more.
onesies and twosies and stuff like that.
Well, last time I bought 25 from him, I think he actually sent me like 28. So
Right.
Lee typing more than he talks on the show. Failure.
Well, Spanky, all I know is like you say, you're just going to have to ride it out, and if they got nectar, that's great. If they got pollen coming in, that's good. Try to reduce the robbing frenzy down. You've already figured, done that much.
The robin has disappeared now. I removed all the boxes.
Has you say the goldenrod has come in, but they're not really working it too much?
Yeah, I haven't seen them work anything really.
Oh, there you
we
go.
got crepe myrtles blooming, goldenrod, all kinds of stuff.
Lee dropped the link to the video in my chat.
I'll have to check that out.
Let me see. I can actually share.
I don't know, just like myself, when I went through and I put this here Formic Pro on, I run 3 mediums, and the top medium I had just put on a month or so, well, and be into June. And July, there wasn't really nothing coming on around here. And here I go in there August, and I've got some of those hives, or some of them supers are totally full. And it's got to be, for us, we got these doggone invasive spotted lanternflies, and the bees will
All right, check this out real
get their
quick.
excrucian. Yeah, go ahead. Huh.
I'll play it. It's a quick video. I'll play it one more time. Let's see. They literally, as soon as the light turned off, they just dropped. StreamYard. Remove. There we go. Frank. It's kind of dark over there, brother.
Yeah, turn the lights on, Galloway.
He's outside, I think.
Well, he's got lights on his house. I've seen in his videos.
Got a light right on his face. Turn your Christmas lights on.
Well, there he is.
Yeah.
It's not Halloween yet, is it?
Nah,
He's got the mic muted.
turn the mic on. Well,
There it is.
keep us updated, Spanky.
That's how I catch a house. Turn the lights off and they land, and then they swat them.
I wonder if we got those lantern flies around here.
Have you? They're pretty looking, big, like
I've
gigantic
not
balls.
seen any, but I
Oh, you don't
wonder.
wanna-
They're collecting stuff off of somewhere. I shook out. Let's see. I had 3 mediums full of really wet looking nectar. I shook them out. I don't know what it was.
And
Hive beetle slime it?
The what?
Did the hive beetle slime it?
No, they were just in the brood boxes.
you got 2 deeps, and then you got all that nectar on top.
Yeah, and the bees had filled them up, but they never capped all of it. They only capped a little bit of it.
Right. Did
And,
you check the moisture content?
Well, I was able to shake it out, so I mean, I
Yeah.
actually got a refractometer. I
Yeah.
got to show it.
Right.
I got to learn how to use it.
That's
It's not hard.
Nah, just pull the little
Glass up.
flapper up, and then dribble a little bit of honey on there, put that flapper down, and hold it up to your eye, and have the flapper towards the sunlight or a light, and then you'll see the scale in there, and the scale, there'll be a blue line it'll be like shaded blue from the top down, and where it stops is the moisture content. And then off to the right, it should be, if it's the honey, would you got it off of Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, the honey refractometer, I guess they call it, classified. Off to the right is the moisture content, so it should be between, let's say, 16 and 17 and a half. You're in good shape. Anything 18, you're right on the edge there, fermentation type of thing. And
There it says make sure you press the bubbles out. Basically, it's like a slide that you would make for a microscope. You just make sure that the
yeah.
bubbles and everything are out of it.
Yeah, and it comes with calibration fluid. And
Oh, this one didn't.
no,
No, they tell you to use extra virgin olive oil.
I was just gonna say I did that this year for the first time, and actually that's better calibration than the stuff that came with it. It only probably had an ounce bottle in there, and 71.5, I believe it is, on the Brix scale, which that's the center scale. Look at my video about the do-it-yourself dryer, and I explain that in there about calibrating that thing, and that's, I think it's 71.5, which is it's 71, and there's a half line mark right there that you just bring it down. What was nice about it was when you put that oil on there from extra virgin olive oil, that blue line or that blue shading that's coming from the top, it's got a nice, crisp, clear, knife edge line going across that you can take that little screwdriver with right at the top there. You take a little black thing off the cap, and then there's a screwdriver slot there, and you just turn that, and it'll raise the scale to that blue line, and that's it. But it calibrated really nice. I was really impressed with that.
I think they cost like $30 or something like that, right? They're not that expensive.
From Amazon, I checked this year. They were like basically $24. You go to Manlake, you're talking $80. You go to all these bee suppliers. Now, they might be made out of metal, but who cares? This thing's made out of, actually, it's made out of some type of aluminum or metal or something.
Yeah.
And it works fine. I've had mine for several years. We were going to buy a refractometer for our honey club, bee club. And I bought this one, like I say, several years ago. And I said, well, shoot, for the money you want, we can buy 5 or 6 of these things, and give them out to our membership if they want to use it. I don't use it that often, but like I say, I had 1 bucket of honey there that was about 18%. And then the rest of them, I was checking the hives and high humidity and all. And that's where I put my, my dryer in that I made. And
Hey, there's Jerome.
hey, there's Drum. Come on in.
I've been trying to get him to come on. He won't click the button.
Yeah, he does a good job. He's
Like,
got-
Hey, Charlie, was your calibration fluid a very toxic smell?
He's
oh, you mean the original fluid?
Yeah, mine sunk my whole house up.
No, it was sort of, I don't know what it was, kind of like a nail polish or something. It was clear liquid. I don't know what it was. It was
Oh,
kind of,
nail
Yeah,
polish smell. That's
yeah, that's the same thing I got.
the same one I
be
got
careful.
too.
'Cause mine was so toxic, the whole house was fumigated.
Really. Well, I got rid of that and I washed that little bottle out that came with it. And the bottle was like a little, it reminded me of a nitro bottle where I used to ride in the ambulance. The little people would have these little black, the black glass bottles, black brown. Anyway, I filled it up with extra virgin olive oil. So all you got to do, mine came with some, I guess it did. It might have came with a pipette, and I just suck it up and put it on there, close that flapper down, and it worked great. Now,
How do you properly clean that?
Just
water is all I do.
Because it comes with a little cloth for like your glasses. but
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you
if
stick
you put
honey on that.
yeah, you don't want to do that. No, what I do is I just stick that tip underneath the spigot. Put that flapper back. Take your finger and just kind of wipe it clean.
All right.
Honey's water soluble, and then clean the flapper off, and then just take a common washcloth or hand towel and wipe it, clean.
See, that
that-
sounds much
That
simpler.
that eyeglass thing, I think that's more for the eye part of it, for the where you stick your eye up there and look at it.
Hey, Brian. Brian, you're on vacation, man. What are you doing on Beach Head?
Hey, Brian.
Donnie says he licks his clean. Donnie.
Yeah, you can do that too. Brian, I
It's a
called
shame you
Jake.
got that transmission fluid and power steering and battery acid.
Power steering and battery. Yeah.
Uh,
Just walked
Different
up.
one.
Brian, I called Jason today. Everything's set.
But yeah, it's right now that's all I'm doing is trying to get my existing colonies up to par for winter.
Yeah.
If I find some, who knows? If I find some cap queen cells, I might go ahead and pull them to a 2-framer and shake it in, and see if I can make some queens this late in the year. But right now, I mean, everything I've got's queen right. I did treat them today, so who knows?
Well, I think, Bob, in your situation, knowing, sort of understanding your weather conditions through the winter, like you say, you really don't have a very harsh winter, and I don't think your hives are definitely not brutal.
Oh my gosh! Look at this, guys! Hey!
Hey!
Oh my gosh! Hey, Jerome, you need to mute your YouTube. Oh my gosh! Hey, Jerome, there you go. So if you mute your YouTube feed, then we won't get that loop. Look at that. Man, we got a superstar in the house. Get it figured out? No? Just right click on your YouTube tab. If you right click on your YouTube tab, it'll drop down and you can hit click mute.
Yeah, the original screen that you first viewed us, that's the one that you mute.
And then watch us in the StreamYard tab.
Somebody's eating potato chips.
And then when he joins back in, then we'll ask him some questions. Can you hear us fine?
Unmute, Darren.
I might be able to unmute him from here.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow, that was complicated.
Yeah, everybody watches on YouTube. Then when they join, they forget to mute it, so it's not uncommon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been cool here the last couple days. I really enjoyed the cool weather. I got about 2/10 of rain today.
Yeah, it's been raining here today too. It started raining in the evening, and it's supposed to rain the next 2 days, 3 days here. What the weathercast is saying. So,
Now, what state are you in, Darren?
I'm in central Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay, I kept thinking Texas or something like that.
About the same thing.
how many colonies are you? Are you?
I think I'm at 29 right now. Try to keep 30. But I lost a couple here recently, and 2 of them are just some nukes I'm limping along, so they probably won't make it either.
But you had a record honey crop this year for you, right?
I did. Man, it was impressive. 777 pounds. That my prior record was 710, I think, and blew that out of the water.
That's
I was watching your video, Darren, and we were talking about honey and moisture content, and I think yours was like 19%.
It was a little high.
Yeah, it was a bit high. I mean, what did you do? You said, you kept it in a room or something there to kind of dehumidify it to get it
Well,
damp?
that's what I normally. This year I didn't do that. I just went with the 19%. It wasn't all 19, so as it kind of mixes, it probably averaged out a little lower. But yeah, I did have some that I think 19.5 is where you don't want to go over that. You're in danger of fermentation above that. But,
Now, do you have a pretty good? Do you have any problems selling your honey, or does it sell out pretty much all the time?
Well, sometimes it goes fast and other times it's slow, but I've always sold it every year. This year I'm wondering though. I did bottle some half gallons, and I'm charging $45 for those, and I've sold a few, and a local restaurant asked me for a gallon. Some kind of natural, some kind of bowl thing they make, and they drizzle honey on it. They said they wanted to advertise they use local honey.
Are you getting what is your going rate per pound over there?
The small 1 pound bottles, I get $10.
That's what I'm getting here in South Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I get here in Maryland.
There's people charging $12, $14 for that.
Well, here in Maryland, between $10 and $12 is the going rate.
I used to sell it for $8 a couple of years ago, and everyone was raising theirs up. So I thought, well, I'll do 10, and that way it's a good round number and easy to make change for.
Right.
That's why I do it here with my business. It's like I want even money, so there's no change problem.
What are you using? Plastic squeeze, glass bottles? What are you using?
I have both. A lot of people were asking for glass, so I bought, probably 15 cases of glass. And I bet I haven't sold 10 of those bottles now. But I have them.
Where, if you don't mind me asking, where do you get your bottles from?
I've got them lots of places, mainly Man Lake at first, but this year I got some from Better Bee in bulk. And if you buy them in bulk, they're free shipping.
From Better Bee? Surprised Better Bee. I bought $10,000 worth of extraction equipment from them, and they charged me for every bit of it to ship.
They saw you.
This said bulk. You had to select the bulk shipping. But I found another company, U.S. Plastics, that looked like they did pretty good, but you got to buy your lids and everything separate, so you got to be sure you don't screw up and get the wrong lid.
Well, I don't buy. I've used the plastic this year, and Charlie told us about a place called Gamber Container, and that's where Better Be in Man Lake and everybody gets theirs from. So you get 321 bottles for like $97, and you buy the lids separately, but they come $1,700 to a case. So if you're using squeeze bottles, you have more lids than you can use. But Charlie uses the same lid on what, 3 sizes? You said, Charlie?
It's a 38 millimeter flip top plastic. I mean, I use all plastic. So I buy 8-ounce pair, a 1-pounder, 2-pounder, and 3-pounder plastic containers. They all take a 38 millimeter flip top lid, which has that seal inside of it. You screw it on, it has a safety cap in there. And you buy them by the case, which the case holds is 1,700 lids. So,
That's pretty good.
a case might last me 2 years, depending. But I mean, I'm using, across 4 different, different bottles.
They have glass as well. I haven't bought them, so I don't know how much they charge for it. But
Well, glass, so you can buy all kinds of glass, Muth bottles. The only problem with the glass from Gamber is that if it breaks, it's your baby. They don't guarantee replacement or anything.
and they do charge freight. So
Yeah, they do charge freight. Now,
I figured it out. It's about
Gamber is more local to me. It's only an hour away at the most. I did talk to my friend Lloyd, and for you, Bob, there is a place in Richmond, Virginia, a little closer to home. It might not be, the prices per unit might be a little bit more. It might just balance out between shipping and everything. It might, I'll have to find out for you what the name of the place is.
We figured out with the lid and the 1 pound squeeze, it ended up being about 47 cents a jar.
Yeah.
After the first time because of the shipping with the lids is a little bit more, but still cheaper than the $1.50 I was getting glass for off of Amazon.
These were 111 per 100.
100. So it's $1.11 a piece then.
With the lid, yeah. You could get 300 and it was a little bit cheaper, and I thought, well, I'd rather have smaller containers that would be easier to handle than a giant box full of 300 bottles.
Right. Well,
you know what they did? They put all 300 in one box, so
oh really?
didn't make any difference.
Well, the with the Gamber, the thing is with their website, it's not going to show the price on there. I don't think it might. I don't remember now.
I think it changes all the time.
Yeah, and you'll have to call and find out. But I was ordering 1 pound glass off of Amazon, and it was averaging about $1.50 a jar, which when I could get them for 47 cents, I went ahead and made the switch. That's an extra $1 in my pocket,
Right. Glass is high when I bought it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm needing to get some more of the 2-ounce honey bears, and I saw they've got them over there at that Gamber container. I need to call them and see how much the cost is.
So what are you gonna do with them 2 ounces, Spank?
With the hot
Oh, I sell them.
Oh, do you? For
Oh,
what?
yeah.
For
How much
$1?
you sell a 2 ounce for?
Let's see. I've gotten anywhere from $7 to $12.
For 2 ounces
For
Yeah.
2 ounces?
Yeah.
of the hot honey or just regular honey?
Infused honey. Yeah, all different kinds of infused honey.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, people love it.
But now we're talking that little teeny bear about yay big.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it don't take much of his hot honey. I'll tell you that right now. It don't take much at all and you've got enough.
Yeah, but I mean, like I got that bear that's about
Yeah, the
about
half pound bear.
yeah, it's a half pound. It's 3 or 4 inches tall. I mean,
I was selling
somebody-
half pound of hot honey for, I guess they'd end up being $20 a pound because I was getting $10 for a half pound of hot, and
I
you
did
know,
some 12-ounce bears, and I get $8 for those.
it's
Yeah. 8 ounces, $5 for a half pound.
Man, that's a little bitty thing.
it is tiny, but they're hot. I mean, you just put a pinky on your tongue and it's good to go.
What do you put in it that makes it hot?
Peppers.
Dry peppers.
Like ghost pepper, or
You could, I do a mix. You could get however much honey you wanted, a pint, quart, add this to it, dilute it down so it's not as hot. Yeah, that's a very big seller because it's more like a concentrate for a lot of people.
Is Darren, what do you got coming up for your bees? I mean, where are you at in your game right now?
well, I'm treating for mites right now, getting ready to go into fall. I don't know if you saw my video where I did my OA treatment. I about had a heat stroke and I had to bail out. It was bad.
I did OA today, and I have Apivar strips in my colony. I've had them in for 3 weeks, and I went ahead and hit them with OA as well. I'm just trying to beat them down, the mites down as far as they can go going into the fall.
Yeah, I like those strips, but man, they're
You in the
expensive.
90s?
No, we're not in the 90s here. We're in the 80s, high 80s, mid to high 80s right now.
Well, how hot was it, Darren? We're about 100 or what?
The day I was treating, I got up early, which is not normal for me, and it was 85 when I started out in the sun. And I did everything in the sun, which is about a dozen hives, and then I went into the shade. And when I was over in the shades, when I started getting hot, that I have an ice vest that I wear on hot days when I know it's going to be hot. But then I didn't put that on. And I had those little goofy fan things that they didn't work much because I had that respirator on. But I think my respirator, maybe the filters are getting where there's too much in them and they weren't. I don't know. I just didn't feel like I was getting air. I started getting lightheaded, dizzy. I was fumbling around and dropping stuff, and I was like, man.
Yeah, it sounded like to me that your oxygen level was, between that and the
Yeah.
whether or not was your exhaust valves opening and closing on
It
that
seemed
unit?
to be. There wasn't. Yeah.
Carbon dioxide levels are getting off or something.
So I ordered 2 new cartridges, gas cartridges, and I took my other ones off, and I took them off the wrong way. I thought you twisted them a quarter turn and pulled them up, and I couldn't get it to twist. So I looked on the inside, and there's these tabs. So I pushed the little tabs in and got them off, threw them in the trash. And like, my other ones will be here. They showed up, and I went to put them on, and they don't have the tabs. So I couldn't put them on. So I didn't get my treatment done this weekend. And I just had to order a whole new respirator, and it'll be here Wednesday.
What
You guys are better than me. I don't even use the respirator when I OA.
don't do that.
I mean, luckily
using
I'm on the windy spot, so I stand behind the hive and blast them and
I
walk
know.
away. Once I flip it over, I walk away from them, and when it's done smoking, I come back and take my vaporizer off and move to the next colony. So I've been
It still
fortunate.
hangs in the air, though, if it's calm out, and it'll just be a fog. You better be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, I when I first started and I had a pan vaporizer, and you couldn't tell whether it was done or not. And I pulled that thing out and got a whiff of that stuff. I ran.
You'll choke if you do get some.
I got some, made my nose burn.
Oh yeah, I mean
I was
that's some wicked stuff. I mean I've got a when I bought my respirator, it was called Lab Safety Book and for laboratory stuff. and they've been since bought out. But anyway, now the like you say, the round filters are in a round design, and they screw on.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine said, "Well, you can get them off of Amazon now." And sure enough, I get a pair of new ones every year.
You can get anything off Amazon.
Well, I tried to turn that, and it was stuck. I was like, well, I guess they don't turn.
Was it a Honeywell
It was a 3M.
3M? Yeah.
It wasn't a real expensive one, but
No, you can buy the darn filters are more money than the darn face mask. A lot of times.
it was $26 for the new
For
one.
free.
Well, that's cheap. I mean, I think when I bought mine it was like $60-some. I still use it, but I like I say replacing the filters about like you say about $18 a piece or
Yeah.
organic whatever.
It says acid vapor on there.
Yeah, organic acid vapor type of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you can buy used stuff on Amazon too.
Yeah. Be careful.
Yeah, I never knew that till I was watching a YouTube video. Go figure. And someone's like, "Hey, I got this video card off of Amazon used." I was like, "Oh, I had no idea. I thought you could only buy new stuff."
Yeah.
So
Lose your mining.
what's that?
You'll lose your mining money.
Oh, yeah. Well, luckily Amazon usually stands behind stuff, but I'm mining Bitcoin right now, so we'll see while it's low.
Yeah, I heard that the mining cards.
Yeah, I've got more video cards than I know what to do with, actually. But I've got 8 outside on a mining rig that's not mining right now. And then I've got the 3 in here. And then I got 1 sitting on my printer, the old one I just took out. But but yeah,
So when I
You mine with a video.
sorry, go ahead, Darren.
You're cutting out.
when I looked at my last time I bought that, it was 2017. So I thought, yeah, it's probably a good time to replace that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a good thing about Amazon. You can see when you bought something before.
Now, do you keep a spreadsheet and track everything that you do? Or you're like me, probably just do it when it's time to do it, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I've been following your videos for a long time. Probably before I even started beekeeping, I was watching your videos.
Really? Yeah. This is my 6th year and my 9th year beekeeping.
And I started beekeeping 3 years ago, but I watched videos for probably 2 years before I started keeping bees. So I could know everything. and then you start keeping bees and realize you don't know jack.
Right. You're looking at stuff and you're going, I don't know what that is.
Right? You get in there, and I could I'm bad at planning anyway, but when I do start planning to do something in the yard, it seems like every time I go out there, the plan changes as soon as I get in the first colony. It's like I see something I've got to, or I'll be working a colony and all of a sudden that colony over there will start swarming. And I'm like, yeah, well, now I got to close this one up and go deal with the swarm. And just,
Swarms never happen when it's handy.
Oh, no, not at all. Matter of fact, Brian from Castle Hives, he messaged me, yep, I got a hive swarming and I don't have time to deal with it. So one of his hives swarmed and he was going on vacation. So it's like, that one.
Some people commented on my last video that are in Minnesota, and I guess Minnesota's having a really good nectar flow right now. They've got a lot of swarm cells up there in the Northeast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of people up north. It's kind of weird because, like down here, we get stuff earlier, but it seems like they start getting their fall stuff before we do. And I don't know if that's
One of them said they would have goldenrod pretty soon, and I was like, wow, that's fast.
Well, some people are already saying they've got it already, you know, and we're sitting down here like, no, we ain't got it yet. So hopefully soon.
How about like
What, Frank? He's cutting in and
are
out.
they like Texas?
Do what?
Are they like Texas schedule?
No, I'm talking about more people like Ohio and New York, people like that and Minnesota talking about they've got goldenrod already.
Yeah, we got goldenrod here.
And you got some goldenrod popping up over there.
Yeah.
We've got that, what I say the other day, hogwort. It started up, and we're starting to get some of the, wow, that was lackluster. Starting to get some of the goldenrod coming in, but it's not popped yet.
I got some shorter stuff that's about yay high that looks like goldenrod, but it's too short. It's usually got real tall, big plumes in it. It's
Right.
growing on my chicken run in the wire. I don't know what it is. My wife says it's goldenrod, and I'm like, I don't think that's what that is, but it may be.
So Larimore
Watch
is
for
east
snakes.
of me, and he says they got their goldenrod started over there already. So I know mine is in a pollen dearth because they're hitting my pollen feeder, and normally they would not hit it if there's anything of any substance out there. I've got some soybean fields that are close by that I think they're getting some stuff from, but other
I
than
saw
that,
some gray pollen coming in last week when I did my OA. I could see some hitting with gray, but not much.
this is
I don't know what that would be.
well, it looks like my mask worked on my sign, so I'll be able to paint that when it's convenient. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and hang out for a little while tonight, guys. We've been on for an hour and 52 minutes, it appears. And you know, we do Darren, we do lives every Tuesday night, which is our real live night. Lee and I do it, and love to have you come on there if you get a chance.
Yeah, I just kind of catch you randomly. I'll be editing and I'll pop something up and I go, oh, there's a live stream.
Yeah. Well,
I'll try to remember that.
there's live streams, beekeeping live streams on Tuesday nights. We do. Wednesday night, Castle Hives, Bruce's Bees, and Nature's Image Farms does it. And then Thursday night is Hillbilly Hives Live. And we all start at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. So 3 nights of the week, you can get your beekeeping live stream fix. But
Wheels was on too. I don't know if he has a regular schedule or if he just does
Cayman just does it whenever. And, you know, Cayman's got so many subs. I mean, I swear every time he goes live, he makes about $500 from just people super chatting and stuff. One guy, every time he goes live, drops him $100 super chat. And it's like, wow, I'm lucky to make $100 in a month. So I get a payout from YouTube, but you know, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
He's been doing it longer.
Hey Bob, did you see DC's request?
His request?
Yeah, he asked if you could do etched bottles, like honey bottles.
I can. Yeah, I actually did it. Matter of fact, if you guys chat for a second, I'll grab one and show you.
Oh, DC says blackberry is gray. Okay. The blackberries here are pretty much done. Cayman does his usually on Fridays. Okay. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done a live thing, so I watched the comments and stuff.
This was my first glass etch. Whoops, sorry, wrong way. Glass etch that I did.
How did you do that?
I've got a laser over here, so I just laser etched it right on the glass. So it won't come off.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, he
How long does
mentioned
it take to
doing-
do one?
This probably 10 minutes. So if I was doing 100 of them, probably not cost effective, but but it's unique. It's different.
That is
But,
neat.
I do like signs. A lot of people have me do their honey label on a sign and stuff like that. So,
So that's wood. You
Yep,
kind
this
of
is
burns
wood.
the wood. Okay.
and then I do, well, I wasn't meaning to do a laser expose here, but we'll
Yeah, you were trying to check out, and here you are taking all your stuff off.
do, like, this is a canvas, painter's
Yeah.
canvas.
Oh,
This is
cool.
a photo of Marilyn Monroe that I etched on the canvas.
I'll be darned.
So I can do any photo. If it's a good quality photo, I could put any photo on there like that. So
It's two-tone, right? Or grayscale. It's like grayscale.
well,
There's no color to it, right?
no color. Yeah, this is just black and white. So, but I convert any color photo. I can convert it over to use on the laser. And hold on, there's Frank back. But
So Randy at Klingen Farm says there's 4 types of goldenrod.
see, a lot of people know more about plants than I do for sure. So I've got the little app on my phone. So if I see something I don't know, I take a picture of it and upload it and try to see.
To pay for that app, it's like $30 a month, isn't it?
No. So I learned this the hard way. I got the free one. And from what I understand, the one that I have is not the one that most people are using. I'm using, let me get to it. Hold on. It is called PlantNet. And even I think the other one that everyone's using is called Picture This.
Yeah.
But you can keep just minimizing that ad thing they pop up, and it'll continue to let you do it for free. Yep. But PlantNet, I mean, they all have paid things, but that one lets me just take a photo of it and do it, and it doesn't cost me anything. So
PlantNet, like NET.
yes, sir. PlantNet. And that's the one I've been using. And the last thing I did was the hogwort, which is recent. But yeah, so more than welcome, Darren, to join us anytime. And come hang out with us. And we talk about anything. So we start with bees, and then it just kind of goes. Sometimes we talk about YouTube and what we do. Mead.
Or Bob.
Mining Bitcoin, obviously, they were asking about.
Real quick, you was talking about mead. So I got a lot of honey this year. I have a friend that does brewing and mead and stuff, and I said, "Hey, man, I will trade you. I'll give you some honey, and you give me like half the mead you make." So he's got with a friend of his, and they're going to give me 12 bottles of mead for 2 gallons of honey. Is that a good deal?
I don't personally make mead. Lee says it takes 3 pounds of honey to a gallon. 3
Okay.
pounds of honey makes 1 gallon of mead. So I don't know how much mead, how many bottles come in a gallon, or a gallon.
They got 4 different flavors: blackberry, orange blossom. I don't remember what all he said.
I've got Steve's honey. I don't have to make mead because Steve's honey gave me a gallon when he stopped by. This is blueberry mead here.
Blueberry, that's the other one they had.
And I've got another bottle in the refrigerator over there. So not that big, but a regular wine bottle.
They carbonate it too. Some of them do.
Yeah, some of them carbonate them. 5 gallons is 25 bottles. So that's 15 pounds of honey to make 25 bottles. Is what M&J just said. So, yeah, that's that's one of the things I want to do. I've got ton of wax back here that I need to melt down. I got that little Lyson wax melter. And it makes nice little gold bars of beeswax.
Wow, that's nice.
So the
You have to
solar
tell me
wax
about
melter.
that next time.
Yeah, so I'm actually giving a solar wax melter away when I get 15 more subs. So the same one that I've got. So that's kind of on the agenda. Beehive Homes. See, I was doing the same thing, Beehive. I was melting it down in the big pot and ruining all my pots and everything because you never get the wax out. So I was like, oh, let me just buy a wax melter, and it's worked great. When I get comb, I just scrape it right in it and close it up and leave it, and come back later. It's whenever I need wax and go get it. So it was definitely, to me, it was worth the $178 or something I bought from Better Bee for the Lyson one.
I ruined their wax foundation in the oven trying to take it off as a newbie.
Taking it off of the frames.
Yeah, put it in the oven. I didn't know what I was doing. Melted the frame.
Melted the frame.
Too warm, huh? What does wax melt at? Like 160, something like that?
I'm not sure what the melting point is of.
It melts in the back of Bob's pickup truck.
It does melt in the back of my pickup truck.
Actually, I think it's lower. You're not supposed to get honey over 160.
About the same
That's
temperature plastic
160.
milk.
Matter of fact, that's one of my tricks. Like if I pull a plastic frame out of a colony, I'll just set it on top of, and it's not being drawn. I'll just set it on top of a colony while I'm working one, then flip it over, and it kind of liquefies it again, and then put it back in the colony, and it's like renewed.
Flower Street says
There's frame
145.
filter storage.
145.
So anyway, guys, I'm gonna
All right.
call it for this evening. I appreciate all you guys. Frankie broke up. What'd you say?
Your frame filter storage on?
I can't.
I can't make it out, man.
All right.
I know they got better Wi-Fi than that in New York, man. Come on.
He's in New Jersey. It's worse.
Oh, it's worse in Jersey.
Yes.
It stinks there. That's why the wind blows so hard in Pennsylvania.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Darren, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for popping in on us, and you're welcome back anytime.
And catch you later, Phil from Ireland.
Philip from Ireland.
All the
Still
best,
awake
guys.
at probably 3:30 in the morning.
3:32.
3:32. See, Die Hard.
Still
He's
here.
wearing
Still
my shirt
here.
today, but
Didn't say much tonight, but I'll take the
See you
piss out of you
guys.
some other night.
Well, all right,
At least
guys.
you didn't sleep.
You didn't sleep. Charlie didn't go to sleep tonight either. That's good.
Yeah.
And Spanky talked a little bit tonight too. He talked more than Phil did.
I know. Spanky.
Spanky mutes his mic
Beat
because you
you.
can hear it in the background.
Yeah, he needs a new mic, I think.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good evening, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll see you Tuesday night.
Bye now.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.
All the best, guys.
All right.